Today on the Ohio State Football Report, we're going to talk a little bit about the issue making its rounds all over Ohio State's kind of world, whether it be fans, the coaching staff, the players. They're talking about this, but some good things to go along with it. Heisman talk, injury news, good news and bad news. We got it for you here on the show today. Before we get things going, after 3 weeks of play from the Buckeyes, what is your confidence level in this team? Scale it for me, 1 to 10. I feel like it changes every week. People have been in the highs, which is good, especially after the Texas win. But after the Ohio game, plus Grambling, plus Texas, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? It was hard not to notice, especially after the game against the Ohio Bobcats. The Buckeyes have some issues in the red zone, right? We're going to break that down in just a second, the exact numbers. And the difficult thing here is you've played Texas, you've played Grambling, then you've played Ohio. But after the Ohio game, it is more than clear that there's some light issues, maybe some major issues in the red zone. Again, it's tough to decipher because these are 3 very different games overall. Texas, a very difficult challenge. You were only in the red zone once. Yes, you scored in the red zone against Texas, but it took you 4 tries and 4 of the same play. C.J. Donaldson, a couple more tight ends, and then C.J. Donaldson finally getting it in there for Grambling. You remember Julian Sayin was 16 of 16 to start the game. Where did that get broken up? With the interception inside the red zone, which we maybe should have previewed the next week against Ohio when we saw the Buckeyes go 2 of 6. And when I say 2 of 6, the ultimate goal there being a touchdown. They end up going 3 field goals. That turnover on down where Sayin was tripped up and brought down on 4th down. And then they ended up getting 2 touchdowns anyway in the red zone. And this is where it really came to light, right? Versus Ohio, they weren't getting what they wanted in the red zone. You expect touchdowns from this group, all the talent they have. Then it's all about, hey, you got new coordinators, you got a new quarterback. And then the questions started rising about the red zone. Ryan Day getting into it during his press conference yesterday. Schematically, thought they were okay. Feels like Julian has been good enough in the red zone. Comes down to details. He thought, again, it's coach talk here. Puts it on the coaching staff. Just kind of says, hey, ultimately, it's always the coach's responsibility to make sure it's set up and right. The debate with the new offensive coordinator, hey, is this a Brian Hartline issue? He says, hey, this is an opportunity for growth for everyone. That includes himself. I respect him for saying that. Putting those guys in the right spots to make sure that we can execute at a high level. Hartline, the offensive line, saying it's all going to have to get better in the red zone. I think you have a lot of issues there. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you noticed, do you think the Buckeyes have a red zone issue? Type Y for yes, N for no. Now, you don't want to be the guy who brings up an issue and keeps talking about it and complains about it, but you don't offer a solution. If you bring a problem to the table, I always say, try and offer some sort of solution. Here are mine. Red zone solutions for the Buckeyes, things they could try, things you may see. Again, load up on blocking. When they couldn't punch it in against Texas, another tight end, another tight end, another tight end. Help block, more blocking. You now have Ethan Onianwa playing very well. Why not put him in as a tight end or an extra guard in that situation to help the Buckeyes punch it in? Or, hey, I don't care. Put 5 tight ends. If it gives you a blocking edge, help C.J. Donaldson get in. I don't really care. Find a way into the end zone. In years past, Devin Brown, other backup quarterbacks, I think Keenholz in certain situations has done it for the Buckeyes. Again, you had Will Howard last year. Use a running quarterback to throw off the defense. We've seen Lincoln Keenholz throw a touchdown on 4th and 2. You also know Lincoln Keenholz can run the ball very well. I think that is definitely a package we should see in the future for the Buckeyes. And this is more schematically or play-driven from Brian Hartline. Play 4-down football. You hit that 20 or above, say, hey, I'm now scheming it out so I've got 4 tries to get in the end zone, as opposed to the usual, we'll see what happens if we get to 4th down. How about mentally say, hey, let's go 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, and get in the end zone at this point. So those are my solutions I am offering right now for the Buckeyes to solve this issue in the red zone. Want to let you guys know today's video is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks, simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. That's because Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits right into your account this football season. One of those stat projections we were talking about here, you got Tua, Josh Jacobs, Pat Mahomes. Tua, you're going less on 235.5 passing yards for Josh Jacobs, more a rushing or receiving half a touchdown, and Pat Mahomes going more. This is the max discount, more than half a passing yard. That's right, half a passing yard. If you want to get in on something like this, what you want to do is download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, we went into some issues for the Buckeyes to fix. Let us get into some good news. One of our instant reactions and overreactions after the Buckeyes beat Texas, we talked about, hey, Smith with a slow start. Does a start like that hurt his Heisman campaign? Fast forward to today, we're looking good for the Jeremiah Smith Heisman campaign right now. Here's a look at the FanDuel odds right now for the 2025 Heisman Trophy. Do you see the two Buckeyes on there? Jeremiah Smith at 3, the only non-quarterback in the top 10. Julian Sand at number 7. I don't know that many would have picked Sand in the Heisman conversation, and I say that because they called me crazy when that was one of my overreactions. I did say it was early, but I thought he could get into the conversation. More on Sand's role in a minute. But Smith, again, the only non-quarterback in the top 10, risen to number 3 in all the top 10s for all the betting platforms. FanDuel with him at number 3 there behind Carson Beck, who just putting up good stats for Miami. We'll see that in a second. John Mateer, who's been a nice story for the Oklahoma Sooners. Smith, back on track, right? In the end zone now. Good production over 3 games. Doing the math I'm usually very bad at, but really dove into it this morning. He's got a good look to replicate numbers from last year and or break those numbers from last year, which you love to see. Back on track with the Heisman campaign. You love to see it. We hyped it up. We were very ecstatic to have this talk all season long. To see this Heisman campaign get back on track for Jeremiah Smith, very, very big deal. I think Buckeye fans getting interested in some other storylines right now. You got the Bo Jackson situation. Saying's been a hot topic, but from the offseason, it's been can Four win the Heisman. As of right now, I think we are looking very, very good for Jeremiah Smith to keep collecting touchdowns, keep getting those numbers going, and find his way on stage in New York accepting the Heisman Trophy. Now, for his quarterback, here's a look at Sane comparing him to, these are the top 2 quarterbacks on that list. He's got about 4 or 5 above him. Look, he's up there. He's up there. He's putting up enough stats to have a shot to be considered, and I think he'll continue to do so. Got the touchdowns right now. He's got the yards right now, and completion percentage is good. He's got 3 interceptions. You don't love to see that. John Mateer from Oklahoma has the rushing yards, and Carson Beck has the he's doing it on his own narrative, right? There's not a million weapons at Miami the way there is at Ohio State. Mateer also kind of has that where there is no Jeremiah Smith on Oklahoma. I don't even know if there's a Carnell Tate or Brandon Innes on Oklahoma. I just think Mateer's making a program that was down bad last year look pretty good this year, so definitely something to consider. All that being said, who has a better Heisman chance right now, or maybe it'll improve in the future, you believe? Is it Jeremiah Smith? If you think so, go ahead and type 4. Is it Julian Sand? Hit that dime and go ahead and type 10. Now, for Sand, it's a dark horse chance. It's a dark horse narrative. It's not happening this year. It's not. The biggest reason I believe it is not happening this year for Julian Sand is if Sand is doing well, Smith is doing well. The two things are interlocked. So if Sand's numbers look really good, Smith's are also going to look very, very good, and Smith already has the attention. Obviously, he has the higher rank in the Heisman odds. I think the two are interconnected, like I said, but the attention is on Jeremiah Smith to win the Heisman. So I just don't think it's the year for Julian Sand. Now, maybe that changes in the future. Maybe you already typed your 10s, and you think, hey, next year, which, again, he will have Jeremiah Smith next year. So even if Jeremiah Smith doesn't win this year, those two could be in the same exact position next year going at it once again. I don't think this is a year for Julian Sand, but I am definitely not saying there's no chance in the future Sand doesn't win a Heisman. Keep up the good news, injury news. We've talked a lot about injury news for the Buckeyes, how things have looked kind of for the Buckeyes. Bennett Christian did not play in the Buckeyes last game. One of the reasons you saw Nate Roberts a lot at the tight end, blocking, fullback-ish position for the Buckeyes. Once again, very limited details on the injury from Ryan Day to Bennett Christian. However, once again, Bennett Christian misses a week and immediately is okay and starts practicing again. I cannot stress enough. I've worked with our Alabama show, producing and helping out with some things there. They have a ton of injuries to major players week by week by week. Their injury list is 8 to 10 players long. These guys are questionable up until game time and usually don't play. The Buckeyes are in a really good spot injury news-wise. I love to see it. I consider this good news. Bennett Christian has 2 weeks to get healthy. We lightly mentioned Lorenzo Styles. Ryan Day already said he'll be good to go. So injury news looking good on that front. However, we want to keep it up. Here's what you want to do. Like the video. Keep the good vibes going, the good health going in Columbus. Make sure those guys keep it as is, where even if they are hurt, they're back quickly. The Buckeyes looking very, very good health-wise and 3-0 on the season.